Hello, everybody. Welcome to an episode of In My Opinion. My name is John.
My name is Lester
We are back once again.
for the
With
24th time.
Longer hair.
Yes,
I don't know about Lester. He looks like he has cut, but I didn't.
I did not cut.
And we're back.
We are back, and right before we start, my YouTube analytics says that like around 70% of people who are watching these episodes have not subscribed. So
Mm.
we really appreciate if you guys subscribe. So thank you so much if you guys
Please
subscribe.
subscribe.
Yes.
Support us.
Mhm.
Just do it. Just support us.
Correct.
Y'all don't know this, but it goes a long way. And I'm going to be transparent with y'all, okay? So the more y'all watch, the more y'all like, right? The more likely we can afford 2 McDonald's meals.
Right now,
So do it!
Right now, right, if I save up all my money for the entire month that I earn from YouTube, I'll be able to buy one Milo Peng at the end of the month, which is really amazing, but at the same time, semi-tragic. So,
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a clear sign of what y'all need to do. If y'all watch and y'all whatever,
yeah,
just like, share, and subscribe. It's free, but we can
Yes.
get 2 Milo Ice.
2. Let's aim for 2 Milo
2.
Pengs now.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And let's
You
go
move
right into
on.
this topic for today.
So first things first, okay. Given how the world is kind of messed up right now, right? We have come to realize through our discussions that we are becoming more and more desensitized to the problems around the world. So we
That's
decide to
right.
bring it a bit closer to home today.
That's right.
Alasita, what are we gonna be talking?
Today we'll be talking about common problems that we have been kind of facing in doing circuit breaker or like doing quarantine, and
Yeah.
some of the solutions that we have thought of while discussing just now, and some of our
Yeah.
thoughts about some of these problems as well. So
Yes.
we're gonna
yes.
start with the now ultimate problem right now, which is work-life balance or the lack thereof. And I
Yeah.
think people like John, who are actually I don't have a job now, so people who I think John will have a better understanding of how this affects you. So how has
Yeah.
circuit breaker affected your work-life balance, John?
Okay, so I mean, disclaimer first, we're not experts here, we give you advice only. You want to try to act upon it, act on whatever makes sense. But if you ever feel any mental problems or whatever, please consult a professional.
That's right.
But still continue watching our YouTube. Okay, anyway, so as I was saying, right?
Yeah.
So work-life balance. Okay, I think this is a great one because I think, now with the control measures around our country and I would say around the world, right? A lot of people are working from home,
Yeah.
right? So suddenly the lines between your resting space and your workspace are blurred, right?
Yes.
Especially for Singapore because most of our home sizes are not very big, right? So our study desk or our study, right? We just call it the study, right?
Yeah.
The study of your house, right, is probably in your bedroom.
Correct. Yeah.
They probably share the same room.
Yeah.
Right? Your bed and your study.
Mhm.
Right? And as a result of that, right, that will also be where your workspace is.
Yeah. Is that
Right?
right?
So it
beside
becomes
your
like
bed?
a cycle. Correct. Especially for me, because like you see, right, we do video, all this kind of thing, right? All this is behind the scenes, it requires a substantial amount of space in terms of equipment.
Yeah.
And computers and screens and whatever, right? I cannot possibly hog the dining table, right? Cannot possibly just hog a space in the common living space. So it has to be my room,
Yes.
right? So why I mentioned about this work-life balance thing is because of its proximity to my bed, right? Which I think if I stand up, I can reach already. Work and life is encroaching onto each other a lot. So I end up like get up, come here. You know,
Yes.
maybe I freshen up first, straight away get up, freshen up, come here already.
Mm.
And then after that, chung until like evening time, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes past the normal work hours, get up, wash up, eat, go back in the opposite direction. So it becomes a very and like, I mean, I do appreciate the flexibility because like, I want to rest, the proximity is there. But the flip side of it, the flip side of it is that like as a result of the proximity, right? When I collect momentum, I don't have the I should go back and rest because there is no go back and rest. What I'm already back,
Yeah. I get what
right?
I mean.
It's just choosing when to rest. Yeah, and as a result of that, right, sometimes there is no work-life balance, especially when you work on the more tedious projects. Yeah, don't say those like, oh, if I'm meeting client, that's fine, right? Because client also pangkang ma,
Yeah.
right? Or like having calls with whoever, right? That kind will end, right?
Yes. Correct.
But
Yeah.
it's the kind of work that requires you to be at your workstation to do stuff. Like for example, mine is video editing, photo editing, editing in general, right? Post-production, right? Will require me to be present here. And as a result of being present here, right, sometimes I don't move from this spot. And as a result of that, it will dig into the time. So suddenly the time becomes flexible, but
Like your work hours longer also.
yeah,
You end later lah.
you know? And it's like no one's fault. It's just a thing.
Yeah. It's also cause very easy
Yeah.
for like, let's say like, if someone, let's say a colleague from your work asks you to like, hey, can you help me do something? Last time in the
Yeah.
past, you can say like, oh, I out from office already. Oh, I left office already.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, like, can you have
Yeah.
another day or
Now
tomorrow?
that everyone is like home office.
Yeah, now everyone is working from home. So like, it's basically when all your colleague asks you, okay, help me do something, it's like, yeah, what the hell? I'll just walk like 2 steps away and I'll go there. I think another
Yes.
problem with that is that for those people who are very easily emotionally stressed, right? Not having separate workspaces and rest spaces, right, can make it such that you can bring along the stress from your workspace to your rest space. So
Yeah, I mean, there are certain days that absolutely happens to me.
so like when you're resting in bed, right, you think about your work, you think about like, oh my god, I got this thing I need to do. Then it's right
I
there to
do.
imagine.
And sometimes, like on some nights, I find myself when I have sleepless nights, right, and then I feel like stressed out about something, right. I have to fight off the temptation to just get up, wash face, and then just sit here and do something.
Yeah.
You know, which is not healthy, right?
Mm-mm.
I mean, the proximity brings convenience and definitely supposed to increase productivity, right?
Yeah.
But like it also actively encourages unhealthy habits.
Yeah, it does. If you're not careful,
You know,
lah.
unhealthy habits. Yeah.
Mm.
And I think like in a society like ours that like how to say, that values productivity,
Yeah.
that values the hard worker,
Yeah, exactly.
it's very easy, right, to completely blur the lines between hardworking and overworking.
Yeah, I think it's really been a problem, right? Like OT culture in Singapore and like hustle culture in Singapore has been such a crazy like thing in Singapore, especially during like even before COVID. Like people will OT, and then people who think that, oh, you have to OT to prove that you are hardworking. If you don't OT means you're not hardworking. And now it's like
Yeah.
amplified even more because it's that much easy to OT. You know what I mean? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And like I think what makes it even worse is that like it is 100% absolutely not encouraged by any external factors except yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that means it's something that is deep seated. So it's gonna take a longer time to like to change.
To change, yeah.
You know? And like I believe with the fact that we're in a technical recession, right? A lot of working adults are thinking to themselves like, shit, I need to look like I'm even more hardworking than normal, which is fair, right? Because employers will want to look out for the best, most productive staff.
Especially now because like people get retrenched and everything, like the job market will be volatile.
Correct. So like people end up sacrificing more life into work.
Yeah. Again.
Which will cause people to burn out lah.
Yeah. Actually, so having faced this problem for the last, I would say, 4 months? Has it been 4 months? 4 months-ish. What are some of the habits that you have developed to help to try to solve it for yourself?
Okay, so first things first is I feel that like I am not the best at managing this. In fact, right, I feel like I have fallen prey to this cycle whereby my work-life balance is not good. But I do know a few active steps that I am consciously trying to adopt to improve the situation for myself so that like I don't feel so worn out outside of work times. Right?
Yeah.
And a good one is I saw this online, right? A good one is to designate your work, rest, and play spaces so that they don't overlap too much.
I agree.
Now for me, right, like I mentioned, because Singapore we have smaller houses, but my room, right, I don't know if you've seen before, but my room is basically a storeroom that I converted into a bedroom because I like cozy spaces. So it's small. It's really small. Okay. So my workspace, right, is like this space you'll see in front of camera. Okay, to the camera, that distance, which is like maybe like 1.5 meters, right? is literally half the size of my room already.
Oh no. Okay.
The other half is one bed and laundry basket at the corner. So like it's really very small, right?
Yeah.
So I try my best to keep the spaces as distinct as possible. So right, I will never touch my bed until I am lying down ready to sleep.
Okay.
I try my best not to, even though you're very tempted to lie down, go and scroll YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Lie down, go and scroll Instagram, right?
Yeah.
I try not to do it there.
Okay.
I will sit here. I sit here and then do nonsense until I start to feel a bit sleepy and then head off there to sleep.
Mm.
You understand what I mean, right?
Yeah, I get what I mean.
So I don't mix it up even more.
Yeah. And I think it's very important to also I think a big problem is that for people who, especially for us, like we are video editors, right? Like our computer is our workspace. And because you don't have an office com, sometimes even let's say you game a lot, right? Or I watch a lot of YouTube or watch a lot of Netflix. My device to rest and work is the same device.
Yeah.
And the same for you as well. So I think
correct.
that's
Somehow now that I'm doing like a gaming channel for TSL, right?
Yes.
So like literally where I do my work is also where I play my games. Which is the office computer, which is this space. By the way, go and subscribe to the Smart Gamer.
That's right.
Okay, that's the gaming channel that I started. But like yes, it is very true.
But I think when you cannot designate like different spaces, right? I think not is the easiest thing, but the next obvious thing is to designate time. Like very obviously designate your time.
Okay.
So like 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. is your work time. After 6 p.m. you just don't touch. And I feel like very difficult to do because especially now because we have smartphones, right? And then most of the time our work email is on our smartphones. It's very easy to see work emails or like, for example, Telegram is our way of messaging people, our friends, but it's also the way our colleagues text us. Then it's very easy to like overlap each other. And then it's like a bit hard to ignore. But then I have seen people who actually do it very, very well. For example, shout out to Gerald Ang from TSL, who refuses to reply me after work hours and during like weekends, he like doesn't reply me at all, no matter how urgent it is. It's because even before circuit breaker. So like he just,
I mean, if you think about it, I don't reply you at all in general.
Yes, but that's not because you want work life balance.
No, that's not because it's a conscious
an
effort.
asshole,
Because I'm just a shit texter.
That's right. But yes, so if you can designate a time very well, is actually quite a good idea. Or what I do, right, is that I tend to separate my work and my life a bit differently, such that I make all my work like clients or like schoolwork, I put them on WhatsApp. And then my Telegram is all my friends and the people I want to talk to. So like my WhatsApp is normally for schoolwork. Then I can, if I don't want, right, I can mute. Or in iPhone, you can now like make a shortcut where you can mute WhatsApp from a certain time to a certain time. So you can mute a certain messaging app for like the time where you don't want to work. So automatically for you also, don't even need to do it yourself. So I think that's a very good idea to try to distinctly separate those times. I think it's a bit hard because sometimes like you bored, right? Then you like end up randomly checking your email. But like I would say try to resist that urge. I think that's very important.
Absolutely. I think this is something that like given that life has now more or less full steam been into the digital age, right?
Yeah.
And life meaning every aspect of it from work to entertainment, right?
Yeah.
And with the pandemic pushing even more things to the internet, right?
Correct.
This is something that we really, like what Alistair mentioned, must really try to draw the boundaries for yourself, be it a time way or in a space way on your device.
I think like even for like John said that he wasn't very good at it. I mean, even for me, I'm like, I won't say I've been like perfect at separating this because, as I said, like here's where I sit to watch Netflix, and here's also where I sit to film these videos and edit these videos. So there are times where it does overlap a little bit. But thankfully for me, I don't consider what I do now as a job. So my work is more school. So when I go back to school, this is probably going to be a bigger problem for me lah. But I do think that if you can separate your like rest space and your rest time away from your workspace and work time, right, you'll be a lot easier on yourself and easier for you to like not fall into the whole like hustle culture or like OT culture trap that.
I agree leh. This is actually very important because like we used to say that like our home or whatever, we used to have like a safe space or like a place we retreat to, right?
Yeah.
But now those spaces are significantly smaller because the workspace exists within your home space. You understand, right?
Yeah, I do.
So like I feel that like it's even more important that you make the space can be smaller as a result of circumstance, that's fine. Right? But the boundaries should be more distinct than they ever been.
Yeah, it has to be even crazier. Like last time before circuit breaker, I try not to bring schoolwork home because I think that it's just a terrible idea. I'd rather come home and I just relax. And or even for when I was in TSL, I try not to bring work home lah. But now that work is home, maybe what you can do is that if you have the luxury of like, let's say you are not doing a video thing, so if you are like largely you can do whatever work you have on a laptop, try to move your laptop out into the living room or move your laptop out to somewhere that is separate from your bedroom. And once you can go to the bedroom, you're able to rest a bit better. But it's a struggle that we're all trying to adapt to as well, so it's a bit hard. And actually, on that note, right, we're going to go on to the next circuit breaker problem for the other end of spectrum, which is who are people who are unemployed and are not working from home, and those people who are feeling unproductive with their time. So like I was telling John, or telling a few friends actually recently, I was saying that like, well, nowadays, like because of circuit breaker, it seems like everyone is a YouTuber and everyone is a streamer and everyone has a podcast these days. And then like, I think it's very stressful because you see all your friends on these like artistic pursuits or like they are trying to pursue a lot of side hustles during their time away now, especially for people who are students who are unemployed. And then people who are, I guess, a bit unproductive with their time and they feel like they need to rest up. They feel guilty for resting. I think that's a big problem and they feel like they should be using.
But at the end of the day, they still feel tired, is it?
Yeah. I mean, different people have different like thresholds for like how much stimulation they can receive within a day. So I guess maybe they're very tired from scrolling through social media already. Social media is a tiring place nowadays. And then they don't have enough energy or like maybe they tired from dealing with a toxic family situation that they are now stuck in. And then they don't have enough energy to go and deal with other things and try to be productive as well.
Okay. This is something I also can relate to.
Okay. In what way?
Because the best example will be the gaming channel, like I mentioned, because we're creating gaming content, right?
Yeah.
So like one of the things that I end up being too tired to properly do and enjoy, right? Or to hustle at. I guess you can say hustle at, right?
Yeah.
Because creating content takes up most of my time.
Yes.
I end up not being able to create content that I like for myself.
Yeah, I get it.
Right, because I do it for my job, right? Which is fine. I enjoy it a lot. But the thing about it is that because it eats up a lot of my time and my energy, I find myself unable to like say, for example, I love street photography, for example.
You recently got a film camera, correct?
Yeah, I just got a film camera. I excited to show you.
So John is very into film photography and I'm too.
I am super into film photography. And the thing is like, it's quite upsetting because like after acquiring a nice camera that I want to go out and shoot with, right?
Yeah.
Right. I realized I load the roll and then after that, like as a result of a busy schedule and a bit of an imbalanced work life, right? I find myself no time. And then I feel guilty when I want to sleep and do nothing. Or like I feel guilty when I just want to go and spend time with my girlfriend, for example.
Yeah.
Right. And then these things make me feel guilty. And then I think to myself, is it I don't know how to manage time? Like I think is it I don't know how to manage time? Or is it like really no time?
I think like social media probably piles on to that pressure, right? Because like there are people on social media who are saying like, oh my god, now circuit breaker or like now quarantine is the time for you to do whatever you have been afraid of doing or like you had no time of doing. now
Yes.
now is the time. Like, you have no excuse, you can't even go out anyway. Like, now's the time to do it. And then people feel
Yeah.
like, oh my god, then I need to start doing all these crazy things. When in actuality, I mean, starting a YouTube channel takes a lot of effort, guys. And it's not as easy as
does.
most people think it is. Or like starting a stream
Yeah.
or starting a podcast. And all these things take up a lot more time and energy that people are able to give, especially at such a trying time like this emotionally.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I would say that if your problem is emotional in nature, like you cannot bring yourself to do something and then you feel pressured to do it, even though you yourself have no energy to do it in the first place, I would say just chill, take it easy. Everyone has their own
Yeah.
pace and everyone has their own capacity. And like,
Yeah.
for me, like doing this YouTube thing, like I don't have school, so I'm able to do a little bit more. But if you ask me to do other things on top of this YouTube thing, I probably won't be able to. And
Yeah.
it's just because it's tiring nowadays and
Yeah.
social media is tiring. So I would say like just go at your own pace and don't worry about too much about what other people are doing. And
Yeah.
try to listen to your own emotional like needs. But I would say if you want to get rid of it, I do think that stopping social media, especially now, is a very good idea. Because social media is super depressing nowadays. And
Yeah.
like just looking at social media with all the problems that's happening and like can be very discouraging. So I do think that if you want to stop feeling lousy, or like one of the ways that maybe might be able to help a little bit is probably getting off social media for a little while. Go and do something that's
Yeah, but that is not to say to run away from your problems. Because I think it's easy to confuse that with like running away from your problems, because like people be like, oh, I see all these people overachieving on social media, so I turn off, I don't want to see. That's not what we're trying to say.
Yeah.
Right? What we're trying to say is that like sometimes social media can be noisy
Mm.
and they influence you and push you to a place of undue stress.
Yeah.
Right? That's when you need less of social media. What you want, right, is positive influences in a time that is not the easiest. Right?
Correct.
So if let's say you see someone or you see a bunch of friends complete a lot of online courses, for example, and then they're like, wow, I become better at this, I become better at that, I learn this, I learn that, I learn blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Fair, right?
Yeah.
If those things positively motivate you to do more, right, then absolutely you need more of those. More of those, definitely. But if those are the things that like you already like, wow, I'm struggling already, I still feel like I'm not doing enough, and then like I feel like I'm suffering, you may not need that. And in fact, right, if you cut out that portion of social media's viewing, you gain that X amount of time into your day.
Yeah.
And that X amount of time, right, can be spent doing something productive, or it can be for taking effective breaks.
Yes. So taking effective breaks, what is your definition of that, John?
Okay, so I feel like there's this how to say, Singapore has this culture of anti-laziness, right?
Yes,
Which is not a bad thing.
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
definitely not a bad thing, right? Being sloppy and lazy is not a good life to lead, even though one of my goals in life is to be as lazy and as successfully lazy as possible.
Yeah.
But like, it's not the best way to govern your life, because
Yeah.
you end up like letting things slide too much lah. But like, the thing about it is that like taking effective breaks is important. Sometimes people like to think of like, you already spent the whole day doing nothing, what? How is that not a break? But if it's not effective if you don't feel rested
I agree.
after that.
That's very important.
It could be mentally rested. It could be physically rested. And I think that is super important. Especially when you talk about random side hustles on top of your daily grind, right? That you want to pursue because of whatever, because of productivity or because of pressure or because of effort to better yourself, right? Those usually come from a place that is fueled by passion. And passion, right, is not energy that comes from nowhere. Passion has to be something that comes from within. And in order for it to come out further from within, right, you need headspace, you need energy, and you need like you need strength lah.
Yeah, correct.
Right? You need an extra. You need to have some extra.
Yeah, it's not when you have a passion then you suddenly have extra things that you want to do. You have a
Correct.
certain capacity, but you are able to use the extra capacity that you have, like maybe outside of work, to go and pursue your passion.
Yes,
So it's not
exactly.
that once you have a passion, you will like randomly not want to sleep and suddenly
Yeah.
have like
And then also
extra
another thing
strength.
is like you don't want to just live off passion, because you will end up being miserable and burnt out really quickly.
It's very
And then you will feel
unsustainable.
even more frustrated at yourself, because if let's say you keep trying to squeeze extra time out and then fit the society's definition of being productive, and then also at the same time have a super successful side hustle that feeds your passion.
Yeah.
Wearing too many hats at one go, right?
Yeah.
Will definitely take a toll on your mental well-being, on your personal well-being.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? You are not just the product of your achievements.
Exactly, I agree. Yeah, 100%. And I
Yeah.
think like the problem now, I mean, we talked a little bit about hustle culture and how like problematic that might be. And I think now is like showing more as ever. Actually, those people you see on like Instagram or like TikTok, they are like some motivational speakers who will say things like, "Oh, if you really want to succeed, you have to like sacrifice sleep. You have to be able to sacrifice your social life. You have to be able to sacrifice these things." But
Yeah.
in reality, you ask the successful people, they sleep quite a bit. In fact, sleep is very important to them. You ask Kobe Bryant, RIP, but like he used to sleep a lot. and
Okay.
and like it's not something that you should be sacrificing. So you have to first take care of your mental health, take care of your life, your love life, your personal life, and then with the extra energy that you have, go and pursue a passion, and that's when you'll be
Yes.
sustainable and enjoyable.
Yes, absolutely. And I think like you have to what is being sacrificed here, right?
Yeah.
When people mention it, I think it has to be a little bit more surgical and targeted. So you want to sacrifice the things and the times that you use that are actively time wasters. So it could be very simple things like some people's Instagram screen time can be 2 digits.
Is yours 2 digits?
No.
Okay.
I hardly use it. I'm so busy these days. Like my Instagram, I hardly use Instagram.
I don't know, man. My Instagram, I think there are people who Instagram screen time is like 7 hours long. Right?
Let me check right now.
Yeah, let's both check our Instagram screen times. I actually quite curious. I think it's quite bad for me though. Oh my goodness. Let me see.
Daily average.
Yes, what's your daily
Why don't you
average?
say yours first?
My daily average is 53 minutes.
Okay. So just to give you an indicator of how busy and how little I use social media these days, right?
Yeah.
18 minutes.
Holy shit. Wow.
1-8.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
I thought it used to be like a crazy like spend like
No, I've never been a super crazy Instagram user,
Okay.
right? I've always been like, oh, I'm okay, I use it for my photos, and once in a while to do stupid things, as you will notice from my latest post. Please go and like and follow.
Yes.
But like the thing about it is that like, especially in a time like this now, right? I make an active choice to be less on social media. Right? And I think it's super important, and I'm glad that this number that I see now, right, is reflective of my efforts.
Okay. Yeah.
Because that I focus on the correct thing. Even though a large focus goes into my work,
Yeah.
But like I feel like I'm focusing on the correct thing. So I can at least justify to myself if I'm feeling unproductive, right? That actually not really, because I cut the time out from somewhere to put into something productive already.
I agree.
So this is also a very good way to sort of check and balance with yourself. Because if let's say you cut out all this nonsense time, and you still feel like you run out of time, right? And then you don't feel like there's anything insignificant, not any insignificant thing you can cut time more from, right? Then you're probably, you need to look internally and evaluate whether you are doing too much. Because like I mentioned, right, there's a very, very fine line between hardworking and overworking.
And everyone's threshold of what is overworking is very different. Like, for example, for me, I can do YouTube and I can study at the same time. But do I expect everyone to be able to do it? No. Like, and I think there are people who do it way more than me. Like, let's say I do a podcast. There are people who do like 2 vlogs a day while studying, or do vlogs while they're in army. That is, in my opinion, just crazy. And I will never
in my opinion.
Exactly. And they're just that's crazy, and that's to me overworking. But to them, I'm sure it's fine. So you have to be able to ask yourself internally, like, you should be prioritizing your mental health, because if you want your hard work to mean anything in the future, which I'm sure you do, it has to be sustainable. So ask yourself, is this sustainable in the long run? And
Yeah.
if, I mean, that's, and then like also make sure that you take care of yourself, and like take care of yourself emotionally and physically. Yeah. So
Yeah.
John was also suggesting while we were off camera, go and like exercise. I think especially now,
Because
I'm
okay,
yeah.
let me explain that point lah.
Yeah.
Because the reason why exercise is important, like I mentioned, right, when I say when people say take break, right, when you take effective break, right, people will never think of using exercise as a form of break, when actually it can be very useful to sort of like mentally recalibrate yourself. You know, physical activity can help you like shed some of the stress, make you feel a little bit happier, make you feel a little bit more have a clearer mind, you know, it can clear your mind. That's why like sometimes people go for walks. Even if it's a walk, you know, exercise is just one thing. Physical activity, going for a walk.
Yeah.
Right? It could open your eyes to new perspectives.
And
that is an effective break, even though it may cost you physically. Right?
And I think like, so I studied psychology in NTU. For the new viewers that are here, welcome, hello. And recently I went for a positive psychology mod, and one of the topics was about leisure, flow, and peak performances. I have my notes right here, and I'm a very hardworking student because I annotate stuff. So like they actually said that life satisfaction increases when there's a greater variety of leisure activities and participation in more active types of leisure. So when it's especially the emphasis on more active types of leisure. So more active types of leisure means you don't just sit in front of YouTube or Netflix and mindlessly watch. And that will actually, in fact, not cause much change in your life satisfaction. So what is active type of leisure is that when the activity must be something that we connect with on an emotional level or fulfills a basic need, like need for autonomy, need for competence, creating meaning, and like allowing enjoyment of family life, etc. So basically, your activity must not just be mindlessly doing something. It needs to serve extra meaning. So let's say you take YouTube. So people who watch YouTube mindlessly might not be as satisfied with their life as compared to people who watch YouTube and will be able to think of like creative ways of applying it to their own work, or like they actively think of the things that they are watching. So there's a bit of a difference. And the people who are able to have better active lifestyle and active play styles, they actually show that they are more creative and they actually develop better emotionally and socially. So it's actually quite important to be active in your leisure. So it's not mindless leisure, it's active leisure. So what my friends, actually I have a friend who I agreed to, like basically we were going to draw together. So these things is active because you're like actively trying to flex a creative muscle, or like even for John and I, like doing this is our leisure time, but it's fun to us because this to us flexing our creative muscle and like thinking, and these are the things that are active leisures.
Yeah, because like honestly, right, the thing about it is that honestly, when we are discussing our topics, right, it offers us an option, you know, to have like a conversation about something that we don't necessarily are super invested in, but we care about enough to know a little bit. You know, and then you always know it's these kind of things that, like, you know, if you have a conversation with someone and you actually talk about it, right, it becomes something that you can lose yourself in, and as a result of that, right, you kind of like escape from your current load a little, even if it's just for a short while.
For like the 37 minutes that we are here. I think it's important that you find these little pockets of like things that you can do. So it's different from people to people. For example, for me, running probably causes me more stress than most people do. So like I won't run, but if you want to run, you can go ahead. So but for other people, maybe script writing, doing something creative, or maybe I don't know, taking courses, that to you is like leisure activity. So I think mainly it's about evaluating what you do in your free time and trying to make it active and trying to actively think about your leisure and like not just mindlessly do it and go through your life, because that's
Yeah.
not very productive. And also shows that you will not improve your life satisfaction as much as you think you will. So
Yeah.
contrary to popular belief, 24/7 Netflix does not improve your life satisfaction. Is active leisure. So if you guys
Terrible.
can think about your leisure, I think
Yeah.
that'll be very important.
So in like the biggest plot twist of 2020, maybe go and watch some Chloe Ting instead. Not saying that her sports science is good, don't go and flame me, but I'm just saying that like if she encourages people to put on their yoga pants that has been in their closet for a few months, then
if it makes you feel good, just do it, man. Like, why does it matter, right? Like, just do what makes you feel good. Make sure you're active, not mindlessly scrolling through social media like I tend to do as well. But I think as long as you do that, you should be fine. And according to psychology research, it will help you a lot as well.
And according to us,
And according to us, more importantly, us lah. So psychology.
more importantly and more accurately and more scientifically, us.
Correct. So psychology research.
Because we're two people on YouTube, so we must be telling the truth.
Correct. Must trust everything you see on YouTube, guys. Especially two random people in their houses talking random stuff.
Yeah.
And with that, I think that's a nice way to end it, right? This is quite a, I would say, quote unquote filler episode, because we were just trying to think of a positive message to send and a positive topic to talk about. And hope you guys have a little bit of a break from all the problems that are happening in the world right now.
If you got nowhere to talk to, you can always talk to us.
That's right. I reply my DMs, I reply comments if you comment nicely. And
I am the opposite because I have lost control of my social media life. So you can DM me, and if you reply, please buy the date for 4D.
correct. In fact, he doesn't reply me, so like don't expect much. So so thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe if you guys haven't, and follow us on Instagram. We have an IMO
Follow us on
Instagram.
Instagram.
And yes, with that, see you guys next week. There are a lot of exciting projects coming on, so see you guys.
Goodbye.
Bye.